we are going to start with a session organized by Décider Ensemble. And then we are going to end this afternoon at 5:15. And really the fil rouge of the whole sessions is about doing meaningful youth engagement. As you know, and before giving the floor to Sarah, which is going to take care of you in the next hour or so, as you know, we are recording the sessions, and the session, the recordings of the session will be made available on our website in the following weeks. These say, I don't take further time, any more time from Sarah, and with great pleasure, I give Sarah the floor. Enjoy the festival and enjoy this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna Paola. Welcome, everybody. I am very glad to moderate this session today about the impact of deliberative democracy on youth. And thank you very much again to the Public Participation and Deliberative Democracy Festival for the invitation to participate in today. Just some quick rules today, but I'm sure you're used to these rules now. Please keep your audio off when you are not talking to avoid any noise. Please feel free to ask your questions or share your testimonies in the chat during the session. I will also give you the floor during the last 15 minutes so you can discuss directly with our panelists today. So just to present myself very quickly, I am Sarah Grau. I am working for a French think tank named Décider Ensemble. It means to decide, to choose together. And we are working now for more than 15 years on public participation through studies, but also through events. You can check our website if you want. You have the link in the chat. And we are working with various actors, such as local and national elected officials, some firms, some associations, some researchers. So everything is on our website. Today, I want us to listen to the testimonies of 4 young people who have been members of a deliberative assembly. I will give them the floor in a few minutes so they can introduce themselves. And so the goal is to understand how they have lived this experience and the impact after the experience on their day-to-day life and on their political and civic engagement. I'm with Clara Schäflein, which was a part of European citizens panel during the conference on the future of Europe. I am with Ilias Qacham, member of the Occitanie Citizens Convention. Occitanie is a French region in the southwest of France. Ariane De Backer, member of the first deliberative commission in the Brussels French-speaking parliament. And Quentin Madi, member of the Paris Citizen Assembly. So to begin, I am going to ask you, each of you, to present yourself quickly, and maybe also the deliberative experience in which you have participated in. Joy, Clara, do you want to begin?
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation and for having me here today. My name is Joy Clara and I am 23 years old. I'm attending law school in Germany, quite in the middle of Germany. And I was part of the citizens component at the conference on the future of Europe, which took place, which started for us 1 year ago. And it was a citizens participation project where we could voice our needs and our expectations for the future of Europe. And we brought these ideas together with 800 citizens all in all, and with many politicians and social partners who worked with us on these final proposals, which we were able to to give to Ursula von der Leyen, Roberta Metsola, and Emmanuel Macron, which this event took place in May now, and now it's kind of the after phase of this project, and I'm very happy to be here and to speak about it again.
Thank you very much. Ilias.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. My name is Ilias Qacham. I'm 26 years old. I'm in aerospace domain, so I work as an engineer with an Airbus. I had a chance to be selected in the middle of 6 million people in the Occitanie region. It's a region located in the south of France, and the main activity is to raise this beautiful region problems to the top level to work on these problems and find solutions. It took place in Toulouse 2 years ago, and it was a very good experience who marked my my whole life. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. Ariane.
Hello, and thank you very much for the invitation. I'm Ariane De Backer. I'm studying international law in Brussels. I'm 22 years old. I participated to a deliberative commission in the Brussels French-speaking parliament in October 2021. This commission's topic was the implication of the citizens during a crisis. Indeed, it's a deliberative commission on a topic predefined by an independent committee of the parliament. This commission lasted 1 month. There were different categories of the population to represent Brussels citizens. Some participants were 16 years old and others were 80 years old. Also, we had to collaborate with some parliamentarians to create together some recommendations. In Brussels and in Belgium in general, there's a specific sharing of the competencies between different parliaments. I think it represented the biggest difficulty for the citizens because sometimes our recommendations were not part of the Brussels French-speaking parliament's competencies, but the parliament tried to help us to understand the difficult Belgian system on the first meeting and has explained to all of us how the country is separated in different parliaments. I'm sure it really helped the citizens and especially the younger participants.
Thank you very much. And Quentin.
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I'm Quentin Madi. I am 27 years old and I'm IT manager in a fashion brand. I am part of a citizen assembly in Paris, and this assembly began 1 year ago in Paris, and we worked on 3 different spaces: ecological things, public spaces, and I've forgotten the last one, like childhood thing, the school, etc. I'm working on ecological things, and we are working on specifically building renovation for the 30 years for the plan during 30 years. In Paris, it's important to plan sort of thing because it takes many years to do one thing because it's a big city with many different kind of people. So I think it's important that citizens have to take place in this work because it's a big city. So I don't know, I think it's okay. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for the introduction for each one of you. Now, what I want to know is what was it like to be a young member in a deliberative assembly? So did you feel that being young make you for example, less legitimate? Was it harder to speak? Did you receive any kind of special treatment in a positive or in a negative ways? I don't know if one of you want to begin, or if we are doing the same thing and begin with Joy Clara. And for all of the participants, feel free if you have any question during this part of the session to ask them in the chat, so the four panelists can answer them directly. Joy Clara, I give you the floor.
Thank you very much. I would like to start to explain a little bit about the process that I had during the conference on the future of Europe. There were two phases. The first phase was only with citizens, and the second phase was as an ambassador of this project. I was working together with 80 ambassadors and a lot of politicians and social partners, and our conferences mostly took place in the spaces and rooms of the European Parliament in Strasbourg. So the whole overall setting was quite intimidating and impressive at first, but we learned to cope with that. With the citizens, we were quite relaxed and we were able to speak quite freely. Together with the politicians, we had to learn that. But in the end, we were able to really talk to each other face to face. So I didn't have the experience that we were kind of that the situation was strange or somebody was above the other person. So I'm quite content with that. Especially in between the citizens group, we were very supportive and very equal. And yes, like I said, it was a piece of work to work together with the politicians, because we were kind of not really knowing about the whole process and how the European Union works. And politicians were used to talking only to politicians. So we had to work on that. But during the process, we experienced that the younger generation, so people under 30, were kind of the leading group of the discussion, which was quite nice to see. Of course, we had the support of the other citizens because we were trying to represent a whole picture as citizen speakers. But it was really cool to experience that. And because it was the conference on the future of Europe, I think it was an important aspect. And during the process, we were able to also find allies in between the politicians. So we had to see who is representing what we want to see in the future of Europe, and who of these politicians can help us proceed during this process. So this experience, this process of finding allies was also very interesting, and we were able to do that because I think it was kind of it lay in between the context and the concept that there were only really interested politicians during this process. So there are certain parties who were not represented at all. And there were some other political parties who were really good, who had good representation. And so we were really able to find people to connect with and who will continue to push our ideas. So I think it was a really good experience, and I really felt heard and listened to. And now it is up to the politicians to continue the process. And if there will be follow-up, I think we can be quite proud of our participation as young people, but also as citizens in the European Union.
Thank you very much, Joy Clara. It was very interesting. Ilias?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say that for me it was an opportunity, a chance, because as I said before, we were 100 people selected from 6 million citizens in the Occitanie regions. So in terms of probability, you have 0.001% probability to be selected. So it's a huge chance for me. Then yeah, the also what I do appreciate is the equality given for all the population. Because for me, I'm not French. I'm from Morocco, and even I was selected because I live in the Occitanie region, and also the ages were between 19 and 75 years old people. So so it was very good, and the agreement, the Occitanie agreement was split in three big milestones. The first one was a big workshop in Toulouse to know each other and to speak about our experiences, what we do in life. Then to brainstorm about the problems that we live in this region, and to select it by per domain, for example, health, education, transplantation, extra. Then the second one is to go to Montpellier for I guess it was 3 days to discuss about these problems, and to then to select the critical one that we will work on it. Then the third and the biggest milestone is to go to Qacham and to debrief about the problem selected, and to choose the most critical from this critical list to start work on it with the people from the Occitanie agreement. What my feeling is quite good, because you know, the knowledge is, it's not about age, about the age of people. So even a girl with 19 years old, she brings the ideas that we say, wow, she's just 19 years old. And also people, you know, with us, we had the experience to talk with the retired people, 70 years old, and we benefit from their experience as big. So it was it was a huge opportunity, a chance, as I said, of life, because it was 0.00101% chance to get selected. And yes, this is what my feedback.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Ariane.
Yeah, the first day, the Parliament organized a special meeting only for the young people who were 16 to 21 years old. I think it was to install a confidence atmosphere and to enable a team spirit between us. It worked as it was easier for us to walk to each other after this meeting. Then the group was separated in different little groups, and in each group composed by 2 parliamentarians, some older people and some younger people. The reason was to help the shy people to debate and to discuss far from the cameras of the assembly. During these meetings, in tiny groups, there was one person who allowed everyone to speak in a balanced way. I think it was very helpful for the younger participants. In addition, the general atmosphere in the hemicycle was very respectful. Everybody could ask any questions and express their feelings about the propositions. I didn't really feel a different consideration between young citizens and older citizens. Personally, I spoke several times. In the beginning, I felt it was difficult to speak because of my shyness, but this experience helped me to gain some confidence and to be more comfortable when I make a speech in front of an audience. So it was a really good experience for me.
Thank you very much, Quentin.
In the beginning of the meeting in Citizen Assembly, we have a sort of meeting with a specialist in communication. So we were brief. We had something like a brief on what it's good to speak, why it's good to speak, how we can speak together, and etc. And it's a really cool beginning, because it's help shy people what is the age. It's no problem because we have this meeting at the first time. But we can see in this assembly that it's complicated to speak because we have strong personality who take more spaces. So we have organizer, and they search problem like this in the sessions, and they came and they say, okay, you speak like you speak too much. It's to turn over other people, and I think it's really important because we have a really young people. I think the younger is 16 years old, and it's not he don't want to talk, but he couldn't because he saw every people work with confidence and who are confident, and he thought that okay, it's not for me, but he was in this things, so he had to participate because of the organizer. And I think it's really important because we don't have like Ariane, one people who said, yeah, you can talk, no, you can't talk. It's a little bit different. And so if you are young, in a positive way, you have a special treatment, but only because we have organizer. So I think in Citizen Assembly, we can say it's a problem because the member of Citizen Assembly can't make the choice because of the functionment. Okay, I think it's that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting, but because as we can see, the functionment was different between the different assembly. For example, only at Brussels, you had a special meeting to begin with the young people. For example, Clara or Ilias. Did you meet this kind of meeting to begin just with young people to feel more confident, or was it okay for you to jump right in the debates? Clara, I give you the floor.
To answer that question, I don't have the feeling that it was necessary for us because we were kind of all on the same team because of this citizens and politician thing. So we were quite good connected because in the beginning it was kind of like, okay, how are we going to work with these politicians? And after that, the lines blurred, but I felt quite confident in our group. We discussed a lot, we fought a lot. But in the end, we were able to stick together, and I think that was not really necessary, but I think it depends on the group which is participating. For us, it was okay, I think.
Okay, thank you. Ilias? Sorry, Jay, Clara.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add, I think it is also because we had quite a long process, because our process was over 6 months, and we saw each other for like 10 or 12 times, I feel. So we really got to know each other, and we were quite familiar in the end.
Thank you. Sorry, Ilias.
Same as Clara said, I have to agree, because for us it was not a weekend, it was a strength that we are because we are in the same group. We have different experiences and different languages that it made our if I can say our strength in the group. So yeah, it was not necessary for us to split it like this.
Yes, Quentin.
I just would like to say that our experience about the difference of the age of participants are specifically out in our group about ecological things. In childhood, it's not a problem. In public spaces, it's not a problem. But clearly in Paris, ecological things, there is a spaces between young and old people. Like, young people would like to put trees everywhere, and old people just like say, no, I have a car, I would like to put my car in my streets. So we have a different so we have a problem of discussion about the age because of the subject also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's interesting. Maybe to continue, and I repeat, if you have any questions, the other participants, feel free to put it in the chat. What I wanted to know is that how this experience have changed your life, maybe or not. Maybe it hasn't changed everything. I mean, did it change like your day-to-day political and civic engagement or associative engagement? So this is the first part of my question. But also, have this experience change your understanding of democracy and your view on our institutions? And maybe this time we can start with someone else. And Joy, Clara, I don't know if one of you want to jump in.
I can start if you want.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, from my side, I'd like to start with the second question about democracy, because yeah, for me, when I in the beginning, when I start talking about ages, genders, and also nationalities, because there were a lot of nationalities in during the event, and for me, this is a big proof of democracy in this event. And the second part is what was the impact in my daily life. I want to say that it's impacted my life because I was like I was not aware about a lot of problems that people suffer from, and how politician people work to raise these problems and to try to solve it. Because for me it was a little bit tricky to talk about this, and it was like something hidden that normal people cannot understand it. And yeah, in my daily life now, I can see the street, I can see the transportation, I can see people with another view thanks to this event.
Thank you very much. Ariane, do you want to continue?
Okay, we could follow the process after the end of the deliberative commission. We often received several emails to update us with the news inside the institutions concerning our recommendations. In September, the Parliament even organized another meeting with all the participants to expose us the concrete effects of our recommendations. This experience really helped me to understand better the politics of my country. Actually, I already studied this political system in my university courses, but Belgium has a complex political system, and it could be very difficult to understand all the differences between the parliaments and what are the different rules. Also, it was really interesting to participate in a parliament commission and to observe how parliaments work. I met some parliamentarians who are really caring of population's concerns, and I think it's a key aspect of their work. I think I have a better conception now of our politics after this experience, and now I'm really more interested to the political news.
Thank you very much. Quentin?
Is it changed my vision of the politics? I'm sorry, but absolutely not. We make process to put something new in ecological things in our legal very little territory, Paris, and we couldn't anything, because when we say, yeah, maybe we could do that, oh no, it's in the law, they can make whatever they want because, you know, money. And then I'm like, okay, no, okay, I saw the different commission, and I saw different participants of the territory, and I think it's really interesting, but I had listened about this in school, so I already know about that, and I'm like, okay, I can put my decision in politics in my city, but it's like it's nothing changing. So it's really cool to do that, because I meet different people, and I make something on my Thursday night, but that's all. I'm really sorry about that. Maybe it will be a surprise at the end, and we change something, maybe even if it's little things, and we put something in the law, and we can say, yeah, you couldn't build building without a window or something like that. But I think now at this time, it's like we blow in the wind, you know. It's like it's nothing happened. So no, it's not changing my mind, and it's not changing my engagement, because I was engaged before. Okay, it's really cool, and the Hôtel de Ville, it's really beautiful, but it's not changing really much for me. Thank you.
And did it make you want to engage yourself more in other ways? So yes, in associations, for example, because you feel like it's here that you can maybe make a little bit more a difference.
I worked for the Red Cross a little bit, so we had an impact in the Red Cross. We had a little impact, but there was impact, and now with Citizen Assembly, we are here, but no impact. now no impact. So no, I don't think it will change my engagement, because I was engaged before. I am engaged now more financially than physically, but I was engaged, I am engaged, and no, it's not changing anything.
Thank you very much. Clara.
Yes, I think during this conference on the future of Europe, I learned a lot. Primarily, I learned about how the European Union works, and I came to understand that it is slow-paced, really slow-paced, and that democracy means compromises, and which makes it quite slow. And especially with the European Union, with so many member states, we have to make a lot of compromises, because there are so many languages and people and different characters and cultures and histories behind it. But I think this diversity is really what is the essence of Europe, and I think this is what makes us strong. I know it's kind of a cliche, but I still think that, because I was able to get to know people from all over Europe, people from Bulgaria and from the south of Italy, and people from Finland. So it was a really diverse group. And this democratic process that we also had was challenging, and it made me kind of feel the nerve-wracking and challenging aspect of democracy, which is still also still part of it and still important, but it is quite a lot of work. So that I had kind of a reality check, and now I came to understand why everything takes so long to change, which was my impression at the start. But I think, yes, that is kind of the status quo. But my expectation from the European Union now is, firstly, the follow-up to our conference, of course. but also with that comes the need of more commitment of the different member states, and more commitment to the European project, and to the union, and to the cooperation between different states. And so I'm still hopeful, I guess, and I'm really expecting the European Union to act on the things that we delivered. And the European Union has to act, it has to be diverse, and it has to be courageous, and it has to continue working, although it's slow. I think there's the possibility to speed up the whole process. We also talked a lot about unanimity voting. So we had the opinion that unanimity voting is not really a good concept for the future, because we have to change a lot faster than we are doing it now. So we had the feeling during this process that the parliament was really on our side, but the other factors who were on it were kind of stepping on the brakes, because everyone is still representing national interests. That made it also very challenging. And for me personally, I think I have changed. I got a little peek into this whole world of politicians and political engagement. So after this conference on the future of Europe, I was able to do an internship at the Bundestag, the national parliament here in Germany, which was kind of a good experience, because also I was able to really work fast-paced. And I'm thinking about joining a political party. I haven't decided yet, but I kind of reclaimed my political engagement that I had in school. So it really empowered me, not only because I saw the good things, but also because I saw the bad things, because I saw that it's really slow paced, and that it's really conservative from time to time, and that environmental topics are have way too little time to be talked about. And so yeah, that was kind of my experience, and I learned that communication is key. And yes, I'm kind of excited to continue my political work.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry for talking so long.
No, don't worry. It was really interesting. We still have time. There are some questions in the chat. So the first one you have already begun to answer. So do you think that such a tool can reconcile young people with politics? And I will ask the second question just after. And do you now feel like ambassadors for this process? So maybe I'll start with Quentin. So we already know the answer, but if you can answer it quickly.
I think the Paris as a Paris Assembly is not a good tool to connect young people to politics. I think school is a really good tool to connect young people to politics, and it's the really first step. We had in France. We don't really have something like politics lesson, but it can be really interesting. Maybe now in high school we have geopolitics. I thought one thing, but we need to put this even for young people. I think it's a real first step. If I am am I the ambassador of young people? Absolutely not. I am not like I'm not really young. I am near the 30, so I'm not really young. The first participant.
Be careful what you say.
Yeah. First participant is 16 years old. There are more than 10 years between him and me, and we didn't think the same way. You know, it's not the same people. So I'm not the good one to be the ambassador. And I think people, maybe this young guy can be a really good ambassador for the other young people. But we know in France that young people think politics is not really interesting because it's complicating, and everyone in France say, yeah, politics is liars. So they don't want to speak about that, and it's normal because they are young. I think the first tool is school, but I don't know how we can do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ariane, do you want to answer?
Yeah, I told my friends a lot about this experience, and at first many were reluctant, but I think their mind could change. Actually, and in my opinion, as it's not a permanent commission and they want to organize a regular commission like this one, they had to apply some of our recommendations so that the future participants will know if those parliamentarians really took into account all the work achieved during this process. So I think because of those concrete effects, this process could be a good tool to create better trust between young citizens and the politicians.
Thank you very much. Ilias, do you want to add something?
Yes. I agree with what Quentin said, but from my point of view, the school is not enough. And this kind of tool, for me, it's mandatory to. It's like theoretical and the practical experience. And this tool, why it's good and it's mandatory to reconcile young people with policies and make them feel involved, because they meet people from this category, and they have the chance to at least raise the voice and discuss with them. Yes, the school, it's a good tool to start with it, but also we have to initiate young people from whom, because from the house, parents, sister, brothers, family, because whenever you go, you ask the youth, they will say, I want to be a doctor, a pilot, or something like this. And I guess it start with family, then school, then with this kind of tool. It's for me, it's mandatory to reconcile young people with the politics. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Joy Cara, I will let you answer and maybe add something about the last question. Ariane, you did talk a little bit about it. This assembly are they a good tool to reconcile young people with politics? And also there was this question: how did your friends react to this participation?
Yes, first of all, I would like to agree with the other people. Definitely, school is one of the main factors who can influence people and their political education. And I think, at least in Germany, for us, there's way too little political education. So I definitely agree that this has to be strengthened. To our process at the conference and on the future of Europe, we were arguing for a permanent citizens representation, and some of the politicians were really quite open to that idea. But we are still kind of, our project now is to get the follow-up and to get our proposals implemented. So that is a whole nother topic, because some of our proposals require a treaty change, and now the whole treaty change discussion will be open, so quite stressful. But to answer the other question, I think in my friend group there wouldn't have been anyone who would have been more interested in this whole process than me, because I even at the beginning and before that, I quite felt European. So I had this kind of European identity, which was always the case for me. But it is really hard to convince other people from this project and in general political engagement, because for a lot of young people it's quite stressful, because I don't know how it works in other European member states at the moment, but in Germany there are a lot of old people and just only a few young people. So many people in my generation feel like, well, at least at first for climate change, it's too late anyway. Nobody is listening to us. Why should I invest my time? There's kind of a frustration, not with everyone, of course, but with a lot of people in my friend group. And the other part is, well, even if I'm doing something, there's still a lot of old people, and I have to work for 2 old people during my work life, and it's kind of a sometimes it has a negative connotation. So it is, I'm of course doing my work and telling the people you have to raise your voice, otherwise you won't be heard. There's not a chance, but it is a hard process. But I feel like it's my mission now, definitely. But perhaps it's a naive idea, but I will keep working on that, definitely.
Thank you very much. Maybe, so there is a question about the follow-up. Quentin and Clara, you already talked about it a little, but maybe Ariane and Ilias. So how important is the follow-up? So meaning what is decided is actually implemented. So did you feel that your proposition were listened to, are implemented now? And feel free to answer also about the reaction of your friends. For Ilias, Ariane, you already talked about it. So I don't know, Ilias, if you want to begin about the follow-up.
Yeah, no worries. For this point, it doesn't matter if they take my point or the problem that I want to take care of, but if they took another topics, it's not a problem, because it's a topic raised from those 100 people selected. So I'm already aware that there is a criterion analysis that we have to do to select the critical problems to start with. Yeah, talking about the second. Sorry, what was the second part?
About the reaction maybe of your friends
In the
when you were selected to participate in. Yes, did you talk to it with your friends? Were they like, it's great, it's a bad idea? I don't know.
Yeah, they want me to refer them to work with us. Yeah, honestly, yes, they like it, and yeah, my friends, same age, I was 24, 25. You know, they want to participate. You know, to discover what is it, what is the process, and what was the topic that we will discuss it. But I would like the mature people, you know, 34, 35, 40 years old, they were surprised, because this kind of meetings for them, it goes without democracy. And when I was selected, they say, "Are you sure it's not a scam?" And I showed them the mail. I said them, "Yes, sure," because yeah, because and it was here that's where I saw the democracy, because I just came to France 2 years back, and I'm not French, and they want to take you know, my opinions in account. So this is
thank you very much.
no reason.
Ariane, do you have something to add about the follow-up of your work in the commission?
As I already said, I think to imply the citizens in a political organization and prove that their voice are taken into account is really an important tool to create the trust between citizens and politicians. It also allows citizens to feel that they have a role to play in our society.
Thank you. And Quentin, do you have anything to add? Maybe also about the reaction of your friends, for example, or anything else?
Yeah, my friend was happy for me, but they didn't see what we can do in this assembly, and now they say, okay, it's interesting. That's all.
Thank you. Maybe we have less than 10 minutes left. I just I thought that there is another question, but if any of the participants, oh, Clara, you want to add something, so I let you add something.
Yes, I'll try to make it short, but I read a question in the chat, and it was about if I was worried that our proposals will not be implemented or taken up by the institutions. I'll try to make it short. Yes, I'm very worried. We are getting a follow-up event in December, and there we will see what will be implemented. The problem is that a lot of our proposals can be implemented within the current treaties of the European Union. There are some of them which cannot be implemented within the treaties, which require a treaty change. And now a lot of people say, well, we can do so many things within the treaties, but our proposals sometimes are our proposals would not get unanimity voting. So if we still have unanimity voting, I think a lot of our proposals don't have a chance, which is why a lot of us are now advocating for treaty change. But the politicians are always saying, well, 95% of the proposals can be implemented. Yes, theoretically, yes, but they won't get unanimity. So this is kind of the problem at the moment, but we are staying connected within the citizen group, and we are still working on that and pushing the implementation process. And we are also talking to the press to have some kind of influence in this whole discussion.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to know if anybody in the chat wants to take the floor to ask a question, or maybe also if there are any testimonies. Maybe there are people in the chat who have participated in a deliberative experience, so it could be interesting to hear one last testimony or one last question. Feel free to raise your hand or to put your micro on. I know it's not easy to be the first to talk.
I will.
Thank you.
I will open the floor. Sorry for my camera to be off, but the internet connection is quite poor, so it's my way to continue assuring that I will hear you. My name is Marisa Monteiro Borsboom. I'm in the Netherlands, being Portuguese. It gave me a very interesting, renewed perspective of what it is to be a citizen, what it is to participate. Because I think when we are in our own country, we have a tendency to focus in some points, but when we stop being full citizens, in the sense that you cannot, for example, elect the governance of the country that you are in, it starts making you think. And since I'm a lawyer, I always think, oh, okay, so we design a system that citizenship is not full. And in the 21st century, I think we could do better, right? So my question now is, for anyone that wants to tell me, of course, what your thoughts about that, is how can we become active citizens beyond groups? I now started this idea of claim your agency, because I'm a little bit, being a lawyer, this bad temper of we can do better, and we should not be so stuck as individuals, right, in the exercise of our rights and also human obligations. But how do you see us continue and engaging more? Because this, for example, this event was amazing, but for example, how do I continue? How do we co-support each other as we go. As I believe is a titanic fight, but one that is worth to be done, because we deserve better as citizens, and I don't want to die before I leave the world a little bit better for my children. So, you know, I have a good incentive.
Thank you very much for the testimony and for the question, which is not an easy question. I don't know if any one of you wants to try to answer or give your idea. Quentin.
And I can talk about Paris because it's the city where I live. In Paris, we couldn't make politics beyond groups, but we could be a part of not every, but many groups. In the website of La Mairie de Paris, we can find information about different political groups in Paris who change a little bit. Some, I don't know the word, sorry.
You can tell it in French, maybe we can.
Arrondissement, c'est borough. Borough. In every borough we have different groups, and we can be a part of every groups because many groups are open to citizens. So in Paris you can do that. I don't have the time to do that, but if you want to be a part in Paris, you can do that. So in this little territory, you can be a part of enough groups to change something.
Thank you very much. We have 2 minutes left, so if any of our panelists want to add something as a conclusion, but this is not mandatory, don't hesitate if you want to. Yes, Ilias and Ariane. So you have 30 seconds each.
Okay, I will be quick, but just, yeah, it's not an answer, but it will be a part of answer. Maybe a proposal, you know, like the Convention citoyenne de l'Occitanie, the agreement, the Occitanie agreement. For me, it was a big step and a good tool to involve people and youth in the political topics, and the steps, or if I can say, agreements like this, tools like this will be a good idea to you know, to take care of the problem in the region and also in the whole country.
Thank you. And Ariane, I give you the last words.
Okay, thank you. It is true that the political vision is very individualistic, but these experiences allow us to exchange with people from different social and economic backgrounds. I think that the media has a big role to play in motivating to get involved in this kind of commissions, because it allows citizens to mix with each other and to have a wider view of politics.
Thank you very much, Ariane. Thank you very much to all of you. I'm very sorry that we cannot take any more questions, but we only have 1 hour to discuss. Thank you for your time and for your testimonies. It was great. Thank you all for your participation. And thank you again to the team of the festival for such a great organization. And I give the floor back to Ana Paola, I guess, to end this session.